Good morning, everyone, from the beautiful, sunny Southern California. My name is Star Jesse Taylor, and you are on the I Am a Human Being podcast. Welcome to episode 3. We are going to talk about society today and society's mental health behavior. So many of you and many watching heard of the labels that people are given in society, and many people give those labels to themselves. Let's start with ADHD, for example. ADHD is a made-up label. There is no such thing as an ADHD brain. There is no such thing as an OCD brain. All of those things are labels, and it's created through compulsions. Those labels, those diseases are created through compulsions. I will explain you ADHD. ADHD, OCD, PTSD, all of those things are the foundation of it is being a slave to the brain. So, for example, when a kid wants to do a painting project and it's painting for an hour and it keeps painting, and after 10 minutes of that hour, the kid says to the mom, "Mom, I'm bored. Can I get the iPad?" In that moment, the kid trains the skill of the distraction of the focus. And the more the kid trains the skill of the distraction of the focus, the more the kid trains itself to not have focus. And it goes with the urges of the brain, which means it's a slave to the brain. It's a slave to the thoughts. It's a slave to the emotions. You might be a slave to the thoughts when the thoughts say, "Oh, what is the weather doing? What is Kim Kardashian doing?" And you grab the phone and you go with what the thoughts say. Same thing with emotions. Anxiety comes up, boredom comes up. You're like, "No, I don't want to feel this feeling." And you grab the phone. This is how ADHD is created. It's just being a slave to the brain. And people say, "No, I have an ADHD brain." And a lot of times you cannot help them because they want excuses. They want excuses because it's more scary for them to do the things they value, right? To face the fears of making a podcast, to face the fears of starting their journey, to face the fears of going on stage, of doing a project, than saying, "No, mom, I have ADHD. I cannot do these things. Feel sorry for me. Feel sorry for me. Oh, I'm so special now because I have this thing and I have this condition and I'm so special." A lot of people have that, right? But there's people who really want to get rid of ADHD. And you know how to get rid of ADHD? You do the opposite of what your brain wants you to do. When you are doing a painting project and the brain tells you, "Oh no, we have boredom, we have uneasiness," you go back to focusing back mindfully. Mindfulness will destroy ADHD, will destroy OCD. If you really practice it, right? Really practice it and make it about the actions. And okay with any emotions and thoughts. A lot of times the brain will give you the things that you react to. It will give you the thoughts that you react to. You hate on those thoughts. But that's why we have to change our relationship with thoughts and emotions. We have to say, I can have any emotions and thoughts. And don't differentiate the thoughts. A thought about your boyfriend cheating on you and a thought of a giraffe are the same thing. It's just a thought. It's not actually your boyfriend cheating on you. It's a thought. Okay? And that's why we got to treat it as a thought, which is, it's nothing. It's like a cloud in the sky. It's like the lines on the street, as Mark Freeman says. When we drive our car, there's lines on the street, right? You're still going to make it to your location. Or are you not going there because of the lines on the street? I want you to have the same relationship with thoughts and emotions, right? When you go to a social event and the emotions are anxiety and the thoughts are, "No, you're not good enough yet. You cannot go to that social event. You need to heal first." That's like giving the lines on the street a permission to live your life, because you're giving the anxiety a permission if you go to the social event or not. I mean, the anxiety gives you the permission. Don't let the anxiety or any thoughts give you permission to do things. Make it about the actions that you value. That's why you want to put the actions outside on like a whiteboard or like postal notes and something outside, because the brain can trick you at any moment. It can give you so many reasons why you shouldn't go to those social events. It could be like, "No, it's not good for your anxiety. You shouldn't go." Or you need to heal first to have healthy relationships. That's self-help addiction. That's saying another thing. I need to do this first because before I can do the thing that I want to do. But you need to do the thing that you want to do anyway. You need to do the thing that you want to do. That's all you need to do, the thing that you want to do. And with any emotions and thoughts. And that is how you break those patterns. But don't make it about breaking patterns. Make it about the actions. Make it about living a fulfilling life with the actions. Live a fulfilling life with the actions. Because if you try to live your life based on emotions and thoughts, the brain's like, oh, he loves to get rid of emotions and thoughts. Let me give him more emotions and thoughts. It's the same example that I give about when you're in the house and you have thousands of chairs and you throw the chairs out the house, right? And the brain looks at that and it's like, oh, they love throwing chairs out the house. Let me give them more chairs because that's what they love doing. They cannot do the thing that they love if I don't give them more chairs. And it's the same thing if you treat emotions and thoughts like that. If you try to fix emotions, if you try to fix thoughts, if you try to avoid anxiety by not going to the social event, you are hurting your mental health, right? And it's the exact same. This is how ADHD is developed. And nowadays, like, everybody gets diagnosed with that. Because if you go to the therapist and they don't diagnose, the psychologist, and they don't diagnose you with that, someone else will. And then someone else gets the money. But like, I see so many people who get diagnosed with like random things. Like they just add new things to the diagnosis of ADHD. It's ridiculous. Our mental health system is ridiculous. Fuck all of them. I'm serious. Because the pills, this is not how you treat those things. You know how you treat those things? By cutting out compulsions and doing actually the reverse, which you've been doing. Not acting on emotions and thoughts, acting on values, right? If you wake up in the morning and you say, I cannot get out of bed because I have anxiety, you're showing your brain that the thing that you actually want to do, which is really, you want to get out of bed and do things, right? But you say you cannot do it because of anxiety. You say that those things that you want to do are dangerous. So the brain doesn't have arms, legs to protect you. The brain only has emotions and thoughts and bodily sensations that it can give you to protect you. And it knows if it gives you anxiety or depression, you will not go out of bed. So that's how it protects you, actually. And it will give you thoughts of not being good enough. But because you identify with the thoughts, you really think you're not good enough. But you are good enough. But you're reacting to thoughts. And then you make the brain believe, oh, we must not be good enough because we're not doing the things that you value. That's why doing the actions comes first. You doing the actions of doing your dreams comes first with any emotions and thoughts. And then your brain's going to change their opinion. But you have to show your brain. You have to be the adult. You have to be the adult that takes the little kid to the things you want to do. And it's going to be screaming. It's going to be yelling. It's going to give you uncomfortable emotions. It's going to give you uncomfortable thoughts. But that's why you need to know about cognitive diffusion. You're not your brain. You have to do it anyway. And the important part is you do it mindfully. Because if you don't do it mindfully, you're still activating the patterns in your head because the thoughts come in, oh, what if she cheats on you? What if he cheats on you? And you talk back, oh yeah, what if? Let me control it. Let me track them. Let me do this. You're still showing the brain that this pattern is important. Those thoughts are important. And the brain gives you more thoughts. It's really simple to understand. Why can't you therapists teach that to people? No, let's talk about your past right now. Yeah, let's talk about coping mechanism, how to make anxiety feel better. I saw what's Justin Bieber, right? Who has millions of dollars, gets a doctor who tells him to do havening behavior. Bitch, what the fuck are you doing? To get rid of his anxiety. If you do anything to get a relief of anxiety, you create more anxiety. That doctor probably got hundreds of thousands of dollars for teaching him something that worsens his anxiety. It seems like it, right? Because short term, it's like, oh, I'm doing this havening and it gives me a relief. I will show you what the brain does when you do that. Anxiety comes up. Justin does havening. Oh, let me make the feeling feel better. Okay. Oh, I feel better. All right? The brain is like, oh shit, we feel better. He feels happy. I want him to feel happy all the time. Okay, what happens? So I gave him anxiety. He did this thing, and now he's happier. So the only thing I have to do is give him more anxiety so he can feel more relief. That's the process of the brain. If you react like this to anxiety, that's why everything can be a compulsion and everything can be a value. A fire can burn down a house and a fire can warm you. Meditation can be a compulsion and meditation can be a value. If you do meditation to get a certain state and before you get into that certain state, you cannot do the things you value, you're doing compulsion and you worsen your mental health. So someone tell Justin. I think he's better actually. But the reason I cannot see like from the outside because I'm not seeing what he's doing, but I think the reason why he's doing better is actually because he's got back into music. He got back into doing the things he value. He got back into doing concerts compared to avoiding it. Because he showed his brain that he can do it again. And it wasn't about the havening and all those other things. But the important part for him is also to do mindfulness. Because if he still does the conversation in his head, or for example, he might use, that's an example, that's not saying that he does it, right? Everything I say is an example because I don't know what he's doing. But if he uses his fiance or wife as a coping mechanism to make his feelings feel better, all of those things, anything you do to try to make your feelings feel better is a compulsion, okay? And you can get rid of the ADHD by just practicing mindfulness, meditation, allowing yourself to have any emotions and thoughts and doing the things that you value. But that's not what people do, is it? And they will fight for everything to avoid facing emotions. And that's why they get worse. They're like, and it's not about like sitting there and facing an emotion. It's not about that. Don't do that. It's about I can have any emotion and I do the thing that I value mindfully. That's what it's about. It's not sitting there and focusing on the emotion. That's again a compulsion. You're still trying to fix something with an emotion. And if you do these things to try to get rid of that emotion, you're still doing a compulsion. So even if you do mindfulness or I'm going to do this acting with any emotions and thoughts to get rid of those emotions, your brain is smart. Your brain's like, bitch, you're not fooling me. You're still trying to get rid of this emotion. So this emotion must be still dangerous. So let me show you more of that emotion. Because it wants to protect you. Oh, this might be anxious. This might be But if you say, hey, I can have any emotions and I do the things that I value, you will build emotional fitness. You will not be a slave to the emotions anymore. And all the symptoms of ADHD, distract or focus, forgetting things, right? Forgetting things. Of course you forget things if you're constantly spending time in your head being distracted by this, being distracted by this, being distracted by this. Of course you're forgetting things. You're following your brain like a slave along all day long. Of course. Being so emotional, even BPD, all of those things, BPD, I'm being up and down emotional. So many people write me who need help with ADHD, BPD, OCD. It's the same foundation, being a slave to the brain. Of course you're going to have all these crazy emotional jumps if you're always being a slave to the emotion. The brain knows how to make you do compulsions. The brain only wants you to do compulsions to protect you, to control you. And it knows you react to guilt, you react to this. And the more you react to those things, the more emotionally weak you get. It's like trying to avoid weights. Of course you're going to get weaker. But if you can't have any emotions and thoughts and do the things that you value, that's why meditation is so helpful. You can sit down, be able to have any emotions and thoughts and just focus on sitting. And you build more emotional fitness. But you have to do it outside too, outside of meditation. So it's really a practice. And it's like fitness, it's like coaching. And if people would just do that, all this huge amount of ADHD and all those things will go away if they practice. But no one teaches them. And they believe the narrative of society. Oh yeah, no, it's an ADHD brain. And maybe you need to go to talk therapy and talk about your past. Yeah, and these pills. And the pills mess up your brain even more. Then you get addicted to the pills. Wow. Instead of, and this is only for the people who really want to recover, because there's people who don't. There's people who will fight me and say, you are an enabler. You cannot do this. You are not empathetic with. No, bitch, you are an enabler because you come on my comment section and not even trying it out, saying it doesn't work and you cannot say this to other people. You discouraging other people from recovering. So shut the fuck up, dumbass. What you want to do is you want to make it about the actions, not about the feelings. You want to do all the things that you think ADHD, BPD is preventing you of. Depression is preventing you. There's no chronic depression. Chronic depression is only constantly keep doing compulsions, constantly keep continuing to react to the thoughts in the brain and talk back to it and avoid things. The more you control anxiety, the more you avoid anxiety, the more depression is going to come. It's going to be isolating yourself and not supporting your garden. You need to support your garden, right? Your garden is the values that you have. Let's say physical fitness, relaxation, romantic relationships, family relationships, creative expression, fun. All of those things are values. How do you grow those values? With actions. Example, physical fitness, yoga, gym, walking outside, relaxation, massage, mindfulness, meditation, hanging out with people. Some of these values overlap, right? If you want to grow your relationships, maybe you play volleyball with your friends. That will also grow your physical fitness. So, but you grow it with actions, mindfully listening to people instead of listening to respond is also an act of love, right? Doing activities with your friends, creative expression, doing painting projects, doing all those things if you feel like it or not. Because a lot of times if you don't feel like it, it's just actually a pattern. And then you think, oh, I don't feel like it. I shouldn't do it because I don't feel like it. No. It's not the right feeling that I have. And you will never get the right feeling because your brain's like, oh, we don't have the right feeling. Okay, next time you try, oh, maybe this is not the right feeling. Maybe you don't feel the right feeling right now, and you will never have the right feeling. It's the same thing with relationship OCD. When in relationships, you check feelings, you doubt feelings. You're like, oh, I don't know if I still have this. What does this feeling mean? Does this feeling mean I don't love my partner anymore? And your brain's like, oh, right. So we got to check if we don't have this feeling. Oh, we might not have the feeling right now. We might, and you're never going to have the feeling. And you think you're not in love with your partner anymore. This is called relationship OCD. It's everywhere. Motivation. If you say, oh, I don't have motivation, the brain's like, oh, we need the motivation. Oh, what if we don't? Next time you try to work out, oh, what if we don't have motivation right now? What if this is not motivation? Oh, I don't feel like it. I don't know why. Because you told your brain you need motivation instead of having any emotions and doing it anyway. And there's so many people who are like, no, I have ADHD because they don't want to be uncomfortable. That's all and but guys, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a leftist, but that's the leftist attitude. That's the leftist attitude. My feelings. I need to have a new pronouns, a new identity for you to make my feeling feel better. Other people need to recognize my feelings. You know? This is just identity. It's like, why would we want to control other people? So it's going to be about not trying to get your special feelings from making an identity of, oh, I have this religion, I have this skin color, I have this job, I have this. Like, forget identity and make it just about actions. Make it, what do you want to grow, right? This will be a fulfilling life if you just do the things and you don't have to build this ego of, oh, this is what I identify with. This is I have ADHD, I have depression, and share with everyone. I'm a vegan, like share with everyone, you know? I'm a carnivore, I'm a keto, like, and then, yeah, look at me, I have ADHD, yeah. In every conversation, just to seem special, like, do the things you value. Grow your skills. Yeah, it's challenging, but it's way more rewarding, and you don't need to have excuses. Because in reality, you know your excuses are nonsense. Like, yeah, you can brainwash yourself. And the more people you tell it's because of ADHD, you brainwash yourself and you make that whole identity. But really, you're wasting your time, right? And you could build emotional fitness. And then you attack other people because you are scared that they actually get out of it, and you could have gotten out of it for a long time. So this is not like an attack. This is to wake people up. All right? This is not coming from a place of hate. This is coming from a place of love. I want to help the people who want help. Right? And maybe one day the people who don't want help, who identify it, come around and say, hey, I see this didn't work. And I made an identity. Maybe not, but that's okay. I want to help the people who want to have help. Right? And if you want to go deeper on ADHD, check out my ADHD video on YouTube. How to practice getting out of those patterns. And yeah, besides that, I wish you guys a beautiful day. Do the things you value. Comment, like, subscribe. It helps the platform. Let me know in the comments what questions you want answered, what videos you would like to see. And I'll see you guys tonight for this streaming.